A nightmare in the sense that it happened when we least expected it to happen to innocent people that were doing their jobs. And so we're pleased to move beyond that and go back to the normal routine life of what we enjoyed in Kaufman County prior to this horrible event and events happening. So we are a county of people that are very close. We have multiple cities in our county that work very well together, and we have all kinds of fundraising events for good purposes that are going on in our county. And this was an aberration that occurred here with Mr. and Ms. Williams, and the three families that it affected. Is they will never put it behind them, but this is the beginning certainly of some sort of final closure to our county, the people that work in this courthouse, and our other county employees. And so it has been as far as I'm concerned, it's been just the law enforcement end of it, the Sheriff's Department, all the other agencies, the state agencies, and I'm not going to try to list them by name, but if I forget somebody in the federal agencies, this has to be a textbook case of cooperation between the law enforcement agencies. So on behalf of the Kaufman County community, the courthouse here in particularly, and I'll let Judge Wiley talk about the DA's office, it has been quite a horrible experience to go through, but this is the beginning of us mending and getting this over with at this point in time is great. We still have the other situation with Mrs. Williams, and that will, I'm sure, come up sometime fairly soon. So that's my comments. I'll turn it over to Judge Wiley and ask her to make any comments she'd like to do. Did I say the sheriff?
No, you said me. I just was thinking maybe the sheriff. No, there's really nothing else to add. Judge Wood, on behalf of the county, he's obviously our county judge, has spoken how glad that we are as a county to get this behind us. As the district attorney's office, we were recused, but I think that the special prosecutors couldn't have done a better job. And we were proud to have them represent the citizens of Kaufman County and the victims that this happened to, as well as our office, which is part of the reason why we were recused in this case. And Judge Wood spoke about the law enforcement and how they all came together. And we're just glad that we can begin the healing process, because even this morning, listening to the victims, this isn't over for them, but this is a first step in getting this case to a finality. There's still a pending appeal. There'll be a direct appeal to the Court of Criminal Appeals in this matter. There's still whatever is going to be resolved. We're resolving Kim Williams with the special prosecutors. That'll be their decision with her attorneys. And so there's a few more things, but the big thing is behind us, and we'll move forward. And we look forward to that and that next step. So Sheriff Burns, if you have anything to add.
Well, obviously we are very pleased to have this over. We have committed untold resources to this for 23 months. We were very glad to do that. We've been very successful. But as Judge Wiley said, we had a lot of good help. We've had everybody in the criminal justice system came together on this, and I think that that's something that we can all be appreciative of. We will, continue to, wrap up loose ends for a while. We still got to deal with Kim Williams, but as the judge said, that's going to be the special prosecutors will decide how that's going to be and when that's going to be. The main thing that I think we need to realize is that the county has been through a very long-lasting traumatic experience here, and I think now, we come out on the other side, and we're going to be better for it. And it's been a long 23 months, and it seems like 23 years sometimes, really. But we've all stayed the course, so to speak, and I'm proud of everybody in this county, the way that, you know, they've supported this, and you know, we've had no problem with it. And so I'm just thankful it's over, and I think we got the right verdict, with the just verdict, and we'll see what unfolds here.
Okay, if you have any questions, the sentence came back that there were, in some areas of this courthouse, there were applause and shouts of gladness that he received the death penalty.
Judge, why is today's sentence, or how is today's sentence important to you and the people of Kaufman County?
This
Yes,
judge,
yes,
okay.
Yes, sir.
It is important in the sense that it shows that we had this horrible crime. And Mr. Williams thought he was smarter than everybody else. I call him the smartest guy in the room, or he thought he was. And it just shows when you have a dedicated law enforcement team, skilled prosecutors, and people that know what they're doing, that they were able to overcome what has no precedence in this country that I'm aware of. And so I think it was an attack on our very justice system as we know it, a criminal justice system. And it shows that it works. It may not always work in the time frame that we want it to work, but in this case, it worked and worked to the advantage of seeing that true justice was held.
From a legal standpoint, do you anticipate any appeal, or what is next?
I'll let Judge.
No, there's a direct appeal. In a death sentence case, the case is directly appealed to the Court of Criminal Appeals, which is the highest criminal court in the state of Texas. Goes directly to them, and they'll review that.
Sheriff Burns, I have a question for you. What prison will Mr. Williams be transported to? When will that transport take place, and who will transport him?
I believe he will go into the Byrd unit, and then we'll go to, I think, the Pulaski unit where the death row inmates are housed. And he will be transported to that facility whenever we get paperwork from the penitentiary. We have to get what we call a pen pack. And once that's done, then we'll schedule to take him down.
Will that be Kaufman County deputies that will transport him?
Yes,
Is he in Kaufman County right now?
yes.
Just looking at the case and watching the prosecution put it together, it seemed like that they almost executed a flawless, if that's possible, prosecution plan. Just speak to how they presented their case and your regards to the way that it affected the outcome, the work they put in on it.
Well, I don't want to, there were more than Bill and Worski and Toby Shook, and there was Jerry Sims, and there was Mr. DeMoore, and there was Miles up in Tarrant County. There were several of them. I'm a little biased. I think they did an excellent job. I think that they thought through how to present that to a jury and make it understandable to people. I'm sure that they could speak better if they thought it was flawless. I know those guys, they're perfectionists. There's probably things they'd rather have done better. But as far as the way they handled it, the honest to goodness truth is because I was aware that I might be a witness, I didn't get to see their performance. So I'm probably not the one to speak on that because I didn't watch the trial. And so I may go back and hear some of the witnesses, but I can't tell you exactly what was said in the trial through the witnesses, but I know that the way they handle themselves all the time has been professional. And I know that it was expedient, but also carefully done. And so we were fortunate that we had that, those representatives that were appointed in this county as special prosecutors. And everyone is still sad that this would happen because the defendant in this case worked with us. He worked with the sheriff. He worked with me. He was in my court. He represented children. He was in our homes. He was in our restaurants. And he loathed some of us.
Judge, while I know the state identified you as one of the people on Williams' hit list, and just tell me about what the death penalty that came back today, what that means to you and the other official who was on that list.
Can't speak for the other official. One, I haven't spoken to him, so I can't speak for him. It was a just verdict. The jurors you know, I don't know if we said we appreciate them because they were very thoughtful about their answers. We know that they didn't rush last night. They took their time, they came back with answers. And those answers result in what we know is the ultimate sentence. For me personally, you know, I have kids, I have a husband. I'm a judge, or was, and I'm a DA, but, you know, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm an 88-year-old father. So, you know, how does it make me feel? Makes me glad that we have some finality. And we have a great respect for the criminal justice system. And that process will be deliberate, and he will exercise, and the attorneys that will represent that appeal will exercise all of his rights. And then there are still other actions that may happen outside of the state, anticipating writs. I don't know. So I do not know. You know, we could research that, but why guess? It is going to take the time that's necessary to make sure that everything was done properly and that all of his rights are protected before he pays the ultimate price that I believe he took from Rudy.
Sure.
I think, for lack of a better term, the icing on the cake. It brought a lot of things together, and certainly, I think, not that we needed, it validated our whole investigation.
It was compelling. I was there whenever she gave her testimony, and as others have said, you could have heard a pin drop in that courtroom. Her manner of delivery, her matter of factness was striking to me, but my perception was she wanted to clear the record, and which she obviously, I feel like, did. And she was, I can only imagine what that lady has gone through over the last several years of her life. But I think I've never heard anybody on a witness stand give testimony exactly like she did. That was beyond anything I expected, and I'm not sure about the prosecutors what they thought. But again, she didn't leave anything to be imagined. I think she pretty well told everything she knew.